Hey everybody, I'm Carson.
And I'm Carson.
And we're Carson and Karson.
And this is Stan Lee's diary.
He ripped his elbow out and stabbed him with it.
Yeah, if
Why
Captain
not?
America was like, we gotta go, I'd be like, okay.
Yep.
And then he'd be like, we're fighting Iron Man. I'd be like, you lost me. This is always how I envision my wedding.
Really?
You know, though, I kind of like the exclusivity. Like, I want to meet a group that just anyone can be in.
I'm gonna check that.
Yeah. Are we not recording?
We're back.
This is always how I envision my wedding.
Really? I think we should unpack that at a later date.
This is terrifying, but also incredible. Speaking of incredible,
Incredible.
what a segue.
That might not be the word I would use to describe the Hulk, but it is his name,
The Incredible Hulk.
isn't it?
The second of the MCU films.
Let's disregard that actually for a moment.
Surprise, it's just
We're
Carson.
gonna take that off. How's my hair? Good? Good.
Always good.
Perfect. Alright, yeah, so this week we watched The Incredible Hulk.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it is a word I would use.
It's by far my least favorite movie.
I agree. I think it was definitely the worst. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Story-wise, acting-wise, just...
What I did appreciate was the running on the roof scenes. I'm like, why don't we run on more roofs anymore?
I know, Bucky did it, and that's about it.
Where's Bruce Banner with the running on the roofs?
Yeah, they really recast Bruce as someone who's not athletic.
Yeah, which is
And-
interesting.
Yeah, I think it's helpful. Probably. It probably makes for a better,
Yes.
the duality of the Hulk.
Right, yeah. And he does more science.
Right.
This Bruce Banner, I don't know if he scienced anything. I'm trying to remember.
I mean,
he talked about it.
they talked about when he did science, but he never really did it
Right.
in this movie. But yeah, so if you haven't seen The Incredible Hulk, God bless you.
Don't watch it. You don't need to know it.
You really don't. It's not a hot take, I don't think, to say that it's, the worst movie. I think a lot of people would agree with us in the
I think so.
MCU. It was the second one that came out back in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Norton was the Hulk, if you're unaware, as opposed to Mark Ruffalo.
I've heard people say they like him better as
Really?
the Hulk. My thing is, I just can't see him fitting in with the rest of the Avengers cast from the later movies. I can't see him having that, repertoire. Not repertoire, but what's it called? When you have something? Rapport. Repertoire.
Yeah.
A good rapport.
Yeah. I
Maybe.
think part of that might be
Sorry.
the character, the way they wrote the character. Because the character changed drastically.
He did.
After his solo movie. But no, it really made me upset just starting the movie, because the first 5 minutes were just a montage
Of him
of
doing.
him becoming the Hulk,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of just text that flashed on the screen very briefly, and images we didn't quite understand. And he looked at a girl, and
Yeah.
and it's like, it seemed like they were trying to do what they did sort of with Spider-Man Homecoming, not with the montage, but assuming that everyone already knew the story of the Hulk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like we needed to know a lot of this information throughout the movie for this to make sense, because it was all based on him trying to not become the Hulk, right?
Right.
So we should have known at least what happened, but they did it in all this just jarring and
Right.
flashy stuff, and they didn't really explain a whole lot of things. She was there when it happened, but then later she was so surprised to see him
they were
turn into the Hulk.
Now she knows, and I'm like, but...
Didn't she get hit by him?
Yeah, she was on the ground.
Yeah, so it's maybe he knocked her unconscious and she forgot, but we don't know.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot that happens there, and then at 75 minutes into the movie, all of a sudden it's oh, she's the general's daughter, by the way.
By the way, in case you
So
didn't
this
know.
matters more, because I was watching with my girlfriend
Yes.
because she has never seen it.
She told me she did not like it.
She did not. She kept saying, every time the girl would start to talk him, I don't remember her name, the other doctor.
Her name is Betty.
Betty and Bruce Banner would get on screen together. She would say, "Oh, why do I care? I don't care." Because they didn't give us a reason to care about him at all.
That's true.
That's the thing. We never knew Bruce Banner before he was the Hulk, and then the whole movie was him trying to become himself again. But we don't care. Why does he need to become himself again? I guess is the question, right? Like, we don't know him. Maybe he sucked. You know? Maybe
he's horrible. He did work on some, like, shady work.
Yeah. And then he was, like, cheating on this girl that he loved in Brazil. He was just, seemed to be hooking up with Carmen or whatever her name was. That seemed to be implied.
Yeah. I have no idea. I think part of it was that they wanted, like, the whole element of surprise when they're in the glass factory, the bottle factory or whatever, and he, like, turns into Hulk, and he's like, you can't see what's happening. Yeah. It's very King Kong reminiscent of, like, people just disappearing, and then he's like, I'm the Hulk. And it's like, oh, my goodness. And they're like, it is Bruce. And you're like, what? But, like, anyone who knows what movie you're going to go see knows that he's the Hulk. So,
right.
Confused.
It doesn't quite line up with the montage thing either, right?
Doesn't.
Like, if you wanted it to be a surprise, that would have had to come way earlier.
Right.
And that would have been like okay. He's trying to become himself. But then don't show us in the very, very beginning if you're going to do that.
Right.
I don't know. It was weird, right? And it was 2008, and there was CGI, obviously.
Was it 8 or was it 9?
I thought it was 8, but it might have been 9.
It might
Either way,
either one.
It was before 2010, and
yes.
it was it's I guess an ambitious task, right? If you were to watch that movie compared to, Endgame, and all the CGI in Endgame,
right?
You'd be very, very disappointed if you'd watch them back to back. Right?
Yeah.
Just the quality of it.
I actually watched, because I'm now a Disney Plus user. Ooh. They had, like, a thing of, like, making the Marvel Universe. You've probably seen it. It's, like, a short film, like, an hour long. Oh. And they were talking about, like, how they didn't have the rights to any characters, but they had Iron Man and the Hulk, and they were like, well, how do we make it? So it was kind of very much like,
this is what we got.
This is what we got, and we have a low budget. We're trying not to make these movies fail. But they don't really touch on the Incredible Hulk that much. They kind of go Iron Man. They go, we had the Hulk come out. Iron Man 2. And then they're like, and then we realized we have the rights to all the Avengers. Let's make the Avengers. So they kind of, I think, stumbled into that as well.
It's interesting. Because, I mean, obviously, the plan must have been there at the beginning, too. Because we know that Nick Fury shows up at the end of Iron Man.
Yes.
And then Tony Stark shows up at the end of the Hulk.
They said that was, like, the way they were like, we should tie these movies together. How do we do it? And they were like, we need to send someone in who's, like, not big, but, like, not, like, big in the military or the politics, but, like, send a
recognizable face.
Yeah, so they were like, send in Tony Stark at the end of Incredible Hulk. Honestly, best part of the whole film.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was from the scene. It technically wasn't a post-credit scene.
It wasn't. It starts right after.
It's just the final scene of the movie. There is no post-credit scene, which was surprising. So that's a little trivia question for you. There's what are the only 2 MCU films without post-credit scenes?
It would be, I guess, Incredible Hulk. And I'm trying to think of the other one. I don't know. What is it?
Avengers Endgame.
No, it had an in-credit scene. It was just a noise.
It's not a scene, though.
But that was the scene. It was a black screen. I consider it a scene.
Okay.
Because people still broke that noise down.
Oh, well, yeah.
But, like, the 10-second noise, everybody was like, I know what it means. Funny, but...
I guess that's different debate. But...
Debate. We're going to have a whole episode. Never did Endgame have a post-credit scene.
We could. But, I don't know. The Hulk... This might be a really short episode, by the way, folks, because this just wasn't fun to watch. I really hated the way he looked when he hulked up.
Hulk, he looked... It was a very dark film.
Lighting
was dark.
Yeah.
The movie was dark. There was very little humor in the whole film. Like, I just was like, Oh.
Mhm.
Very not what I know Marvel as today.
Right.
Kind of DC.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bleep that out.
But, like, even the way just he was... Like, they were trying to give him a lot of detail as the Hulk. And they made, like, his chest, like ridged.
Yeah, I didn't
You know
like
what I
that.
mean?
Like, his muscles were, like, straining.
Right.
The
It wasn't like
Abomination
they
had it,
just
too.
grew. It was like they stretched, and it was just weird. It was hard to look at. You didn't want to like him when you saw him Hulk up.
Also the hair.
And the hair.
The green eyes are freaky. It was just a freaky one. I much prefer the nice one we have now.
Yeah.
Where he's likable.
Right. And he's funny.
Yeah. Hulk is... Well, now Professor Hulk, whole nother story
Yeah.
of weirdness again.
Right.
But Hulk, I'm thinking Avengers era. Was much different, much better. And Bruce Banner just is a funner guy. More fun. I think Rebel Hulk, he's so like, meh, meh. The only time he like smiles is at the very end when he's like, haha, I got control of the Hulk. Which I'm assuming is what he's like.
Yeah, that's
like,
what we think.
Which I guess was the point. I don't know. What was he trying to do?
I don't know. It was just weird because it was the same obstacle every time. He was just always getting chased. It wasn't like, and I mean that can be the overarching thing, right? But it's not like
He's run away.
he ran away. All right, they caught him. They're gonna fight. He ran away again. They caught him. They're gonna fight. It was barely like they barely made it known. It felt like throughout the film that he's going to get this research because the research is going to be what's going to save him, right? And then you're like, oh no, the research is gone, and we're like, what research? Is kind of what I was like.
Yeah, I was like, what is he looking for?
Yeah, I was like, why did he need it? So he knew how to control it in the first place, or you know, like I didn't understand.
Looking for a reverse, like I guess if you know how to get it, you can reverse it, but
right. And then they just go to New York.
They find that guy.
Yeah.
He.
And why Idaho? By the way.
Why would you be talking on the internet with someone about your shady criminal self? Like, hey, guess what? I have gamma radiation poisoning. Shh, don't tell. He's obviously gonna tell. I, as a scientist, will tell you. If someone texted me and was like, I gotta tell you this, I'd be like, man, we could do so much with that. Like, take advantage of what you have, I guess. Don't trust them.
Yeah, well.
Don't trust scientists.
Okay, good to know. So don't tell you secrets?
Well, if you got gamma radiation poisoning, number one, I hope I would be the first person you would tell so we could, like, make money off of it. We could put it in a movie. But also, yeah, don't let me have your blood. Don't send me your blood in the mail. Like, that was the weirdest part. He's like, send me your blood. And I was like, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was just it was just a cringy movie to watch. That's the best way to put it, I guess. And I mean, we talked a little bit about, I think, female characters in the MCU.
Yeah.
In the early stages. And say what you want about Pepper Potts, but she's better than Betty.
Oh, well, that's why I don't even consider Betty.
She wasn't even a character, essentially. I mean...
Please, Dad, was, like, her only line. Like, no, I'm my girl. She did do that cool move where she, like, elbowed that guy in the face and he, like, boom, went down.
Oh,
I was like, that must be, like, your military training right there. Like, my dad's in the military.
Yeah, pow, pow.
Gotcha.
That was it, though.
That was all she did.
That was it. She was a scientist on the, like, but, like, unable to help, right? Like, she didn't...
Yeah, and her boyfriend's the guy from... What, Modern Family?
Yeah, yeah.
I said, hey, it's him.
Yeah.
Modern Family was not out yet.
I don't think, I was going to say, it was distracting to see him in the scene.
I couldn't take it seriously. I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, no, it was funny. But, no, she, like, was a scientist, technically, right? Like, that's her job. And she was there. But then again, in the montage, in the beginning, she's there, right?
Right.
But, like, she's just behind the glass. Does she, like, just, like, push the button? How much did she help? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, did she know it was Bruce?
Right. I mean, it just doesn't make... They didn't make an effort.
Yeah, to explain that.
Like, oh, save me. Oh, I can control the beast because I'm the pretty girl, right? Like, that's what, you know what I mean? Like, I can calm them down. Like, that was her
Black
role.
Widow.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like Black Widow.
Wow. Except Black Widow actually
does other
did
things.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. And that's why she was never revisited, I guess. I don't think ever.
Right. They mention her in Avengers?
I don't think so.
I can't remember if she's brought up or not.
No, the girlfriends are brought up when Thor and Iron Man are together, and
right, that's an Age of
Hill.
Ultron.
Oh right, okay, Avengers.
I thought maybe it was brought up in the lab scene when Tony stabs him with a screwdriver, or pokes him. He doesn't like stab him, but it's an electric one. It's like. Zzz. And then Captain America's like, what in the world is happening?
Yeah.
He, like, comes in like an angry father, like, what are you doing, children? And they're like, nothing, Dad.
Relax, Dad. It's just a knife.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I couldn't handle pointy things.
Right. Best character from The Incredible Hulk, I think, was Ross. I really do. Thaddeus Ross. Most consistent character across the MCU. I used to say one of. You hate him from the get-go.
Yeah.
And he does a good job with that, and then you hate him later on, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that he's the one, that Stark goes to, as opposed to
Didn't understand
Banner.
that.
Yeah.
He was
it's
like...
don't you know? Doesn't Fury know that, like, Banner's running from this guy?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, that was a little confusing.
Well, it starts on the short film, the... something. It's called the something. Can't remember. But it's like Coulson and that one guy who's part of Hydra. Who's a SHIELD agent.
Oh,
Something with an S.
bald guy, right?
Sidwell.
Sidwell. Yeah.
Something like that.
Sidwell. I'm pretty sure. Agent Sidwell.
Yeah.
With a T.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Them talking, and then they're like, we have to send someone in, and then they send in Stark. I wonder if it was more of like a threat, like, hey, I'm telling you, we're putting together a team.
Interesting. To be honest with you, I don't remember the scene well enough to give you a good opinion on that.
I just remember he walks in and he says, don't want to say I told you so, but I watched this like an hour ago, that's why I know.
Oh, okay.
The super soldier something was put on ice, which I laughed at because Captain America's on ice and he's a super soldier, and I thought it was funny. The super soldier like program or something is put on ice. He's like, I'm gonna say I told you so. And then he's like, so what? He said, Ross was like, do you always wear fancy suits?
Yeah.
And he's like, touche. And I'm like, what? And then he was like, what if I told you we were putting together a team? And that was like it. And I was like, remember when they said Iron Man wasn't recommended for the team? Confused.
That was after
Iron Man 2?
Yeah, Iron Man 2. So up until that point, he was part of it. He was getting.
Literally, no one else was on the team but him. There was no team yet, because we haven't been introduced to Black Widow, Hawkeye,
None of them.
Thor. We get introduced to Black Widow in the next one, Hawkeye in the one after that, and then lastly Captain America.
Yeah. Wow.
Because Hawkeye's in Thor.
Yeah. It's an interesting movie. It's one that we've discussed about, like, whether or not it counts, even. You know what I mean?
It's not necessary in any way.
Right. It doesn't really advance the story.
The only thing I think you would get from it is, the relationship between Ross, like Thaddeus Ross, and Bruce, and his role in all this comes up possibly later. You could think of it as in Civil War, like, what's his history?
Right. Ross's history.
Right.
Essentially. But I don't even know. We'll watch it again coming up in a while here, Civil War.
Oh, I thought you meant Hulk, and I was like, why?
No. I just mean, I don't even remember if Ross had a particular beef with Bruce Banner. You know what I mean?
It's referenced that, because Tony says to Black Widow at one point, it'd sure be nice if we had a Hulk. And she says, do you really think he'd be on your side on this?
Oh, okay.
So implied, like, he doesn't trust Ross. He probably, as someone who's been running from the government, would he want more government control?
Yeah. And I guess, also the two, if I misplaced 2 nuclear bombs, right?
Right.
That I mean, technically he did then, but that's beside the point. I guess those are the 2, or that's a reference also, I think, maybe.
Right.
Like it could be construed as, you know what I mean?
True.
But it's not very direct, which, I mean, is fine, right? It's a different character completely.
Yes.
Because, like, at the end of The Incredible Hulk, he's in Canada.
Is that where he is?
He's in Canada. He's in British Columbia.
Oh, that's in Canada?
Yeah, it's one
I
of the
thought that
provinces.
it was in Great Britain.
No, it's in it's a Canadian province.
They should put Canada.
And then at the beginning of the Avengers, he's in southern India, I believe.
Yeah. He's somewhere.
I forget the name of the town.
Being a doctor.
Right. But it's not Canada. We know that.
No, but it's also been 3 or 4 years.
Only a couple, right? Because isn't it essentially pretty much set on the timeline of the real world?
Right, well, the Avengers was in 2012.
Right, and this
So,
came in
2008, 2009.
okay,
So
okay.
it's been...
Sorry, I was thinking 2010.
It's been 4 or 5 years. 3 or 4.
3 or 4 years, yeah.
That he's been on the
So
run.
a lot could happen, right? But then, yeah, it seems like he's been over there for a while. That's what it feels like.
Right. I assume he's been there for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's just confusing, right? I mean, it's clear. I'm excited to see, the next phase in the MCU because
Where is he going to be?
The Hulk.
Yeah.
He was on Stephen Colbert's Late Show.
Oh.
A couple nights ago, and this is being recorded in November, by the way.
November 24.
He was on there, and he asked him if the Hulk was going to make another appearance, and apparently he's having a meeting with Feige about if they could. Feige had asked him if they could squeeze if there was any more story left in the Hulk, and Ruffalo said I could probably come up with a couple of storylines, so he might be getting more screen time. It's unclear if that's going to be as a cameo in She-Hulk or is it She-Hulk or Lady Hulk?
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, and so that's the new series. But yeah, so I don't know if that's going to happen, if it's going to be that, or if he's just going to be a recurring character on that show,
Right.
or if it's going to be. I still don't think they can make a title movie.
They can't. I can definitely see him coming in possibly as like a mentor role or like still as a scientist. Like,
yeah.
Who else do you have that's your big brain? Like they're like, we need a big brain.
Right. Shuri.
Yeah, but
and Banner, but Shuri's young.
She's
right?
young, and she's in Wakanda, and
Wakanda.
she's like, how you gonna get a hold of her?
Right.
And
She's got stuff going on.
Yeah, she's probably really busy.
He could be definitely, Avengers headquarter guy.
Right. He's definitely not going to have a fighting role. I can't see him fighting again because he is old. Half his arm is gone. Like, his arm is destroyed. There's no way. I don't think that's healing.
Probably not.
If it didn't heal then, I don't think it's going to heal. And he just doesn't have the drive to fight anymore. I don't think he wants to.
I don't think so either.
But I could see him coming in as, like, almost a mentor for the new Avengers, the younger ones, and, like, helping them out of situations.
Right.
I mean, you have Peter Parker, who's super smart, but also still a kid.
And a fighter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right.
You need a man in the chair.
You need a guy in the chair.
It could be the Hulk.
It could be the Hulk. It's a big chair.
That would be the funniest thing. Just because, like, the Hulk is one of the strongest fighters, and you're like, Hulk, you're going to stay in for this one.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That'll be the reaction. It won't be, And it'll be interesting because that'll be either an end credit scene coming up soon, or it'll be a couple years until we see that. Because we know there's not going to be an Avengers film or a group film for 2.5 years.
There's no Avengers anymore, unless it's all brand new.
Call them. Yeah. We don't even know what it's going to be.
I don't even know who's left anymore.
But I'm excited because we see in these early movies, right, the story arc of this big universe is sort of just right now throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what's going to stick.
Right, yeah.
And then they connect the dots as they go on.
Mm-hmm.
But now they've done this for 10 years, Marvel
and now
has.
where do you go?
And now, I mean, that's the end of the story, right? But, like, that story, and it'll, spur the beginnings of the new one. But they know now they've definitely got a much more solid plan.
Mm-hmm.
I expect to see fewer like timeline errors.
Right.
Right.
There were a couple.
Yeah. And they are bold with them. They put time like big on the screen. It's like 2012, and you're like, but that happened, and It's
yeah.
Like,
and
so,
I think part of it now is just like a running joke because people were like, why do you got to put it? So
Yeah.
they put like space.
right.
And I was like,
And
really?
that was funny.
That's just them trolling everyone for making fun of it. So.
But like so they're gonna make mistakes, and they definitely did. But I think there'll be fewer, and they'll be
Right.
less important mistakes, right?
Right.
Because it feels like now they have this, like they know this works, right? This actual like universe thing. People love it.
Yeah, which they were kind of surprised. But
yeah, I'm excited, and it's yeah. I don't know what else to say about the Hulk.
the Hulk
I really don't.
is. I want to see just a montage of Mark Ruffalo running on roofs. I really do. I said, why doesn't Bruce Banner run on roofs anymore?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's just too busy
He's
sciencing.
such a nerd now.
He is, but I appreciate the nerd.
It was interesting, right? Because there's some of the Hulk's Incredible Hulk stuff. Like early, he's trying to learn to control his anger, right? He's going to like
That guy with the
breathing
diaphragm, and
gurus.
he's like
Yeah.
doing some weird stuff.
That was wild, right? It's reminiscent of Doctor Strange a little bit,
Yeah.
and like you said, just no science the whole time. Like he fixed the conveyor
Right.
belt, and that's it.
Right.
And the guy's like, "You're way too smart for this," and he was like, "Yeah," and that was like.
And he's not even like a mechanic. He is like, when I think of the Hulk, you think of like biology,
And he's got 7 PhDs.
He does. He has
So
a lot. I don't know what they're all in.
Me neither. They're not flying a spaceship. We know that.
They're from when he jumped from the helicopter,
God.
I was like, Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, absolutely. That was hilarious. They brought that back. They made it less funny. It was not funny when he did it
this
the
was
first
the
time.
OG.
I know.
Yeah.
This one wasn't funny. The other one was funny.
Because you do.
Because you knew he wasn't going to do it. But, like, I knew when he jumped to it, but he was, like, afraid.
Yeah.
He, like, was like, oh, no, I haven't turned in midair like I thought I would. And then, so so we've kind of run out of stuff to say.
Yeah, there's not much. The fight scene with the Abomination I thought was short, weird.
It was weird. All the fight scenes were weird. I don't know. I thought they did a cool thing with the sonic waves, whatever that was, sonar stuff. But like even then, he didn't do some sciencey thing to get out of it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
the Hulk don't do science.
I guess the Hulk doesn't do science, right? But
No.
it was just it felt out of character, I guess, for him to just sort of like grit up, and
Yeah.
not that it was out of character for him to like punch this sonar machine, or
Right.
throw something at him, right? But like, and that felt like Captain America or Spider-Man as opposed to the Hulk, that just like sheer willpower, like that's what's gonna get me through it. You know what I mean?
Right, the Hulk's more like...
The Hulk's like, ooh, I can take a punch, and then I'll just run from another side, and right.
I felt like it took him longer to defeat guys with guns than it did the Abomination.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like that in scene, like, I thought it should have been... Like, all of a sudden, he's the Blonsky's the Abomination, and it's like, oh... And then I just choked him almost to death. And I have never heard him referenced again. Like, where is he?
I don't know, but he doesn't have an elbow. He
No.
ripped his elbow out and stabbed him with it. Talking about dark. I mean, are you kidding me?
He did
like
do that.
he almost killed him, but first he almost killed him by stabbing him in the heart.
With his...
After the Abomination stabbed him in the heart.
Yeah.
Or tried with his elbow. So I guess like touche,
Eye for an
gotcha,
eye.
but like
yeah,
that's the stuff we don't see, right? Like
right. In the Avengers Lego, like the Lego Marvel game, it's really weird. The Abomination is in a facility with like a bunch of other villains, and they like break out.
like what's the S.H.I.E.L.D.
it's
base?
like a bunch of X-Men now in the
Oh.
game, because the X-Men are in the game, so it's like Sabretooth and Mystique, and like Doctor Doom is like releasing everyone, so he like breaks them out of this area. Like, it was like a Doctor Doom teams up with Magneto and Loki and
That's
AIM and like a bunch of other crazy people, and But yeah, he's in like a thing, and he like likes to cuddle with his little teddy bear, like the Abomination does. And I was like, what?
That's
so
wild.
maybe he is somewhere.
Maybe he's like, okay. So in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's this like, I don't remember if they call it the bunker or the cellar or something, but there's this like massive tower full of just the worst criminals in
That's
MCU,
kind of what it looks like.
and like all this super dangerous technology, right? And you can only get in if you're whatever level agent, and
Probably
you have to
level
go through
7.
the roof. I think it's level 7.
I've heard like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They always are like, welcome to, when Coulson's like, welcome. What was the guy who's like, I know Coulson's dead, I'm level 6, and Coulson walks in, he goes, welcome to level 7. It's like, ah.
That's funny. But like, yeah, there was a big episode there where one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Hydra agents that had infiltrated got in and broke a bunch of people out and stuff.
Right.
But like, so maybe he's there, but who knows?
Who knows?
He was old anyway. He was already 39.
Right. He was. I wonder like what they did with him. Like literally the Hulk just leaves him at their
He
feet.
didn't even like
and
turn
runs
back.
away.
He just was like still big.
I wonder if he's stuck.
Stuck like that?
Yeah.
Then how was anybody else gonna handle him? You know?
Put him in the thing.
Alright.
Maybe they killed him after Hulk left. They were like, well.
Yeah. No, that was dark. Like, you don't see like up close personal murders in the MCU. I mean, like, we see
I'm trying to think of one.
we see Thor pushing the axe into Thanos' chest, but that's like it, and it doesn't feel the same because he threw it from so far
Right.
away, right? And it was like, and
Thanos ripping Iron Man's thing and stabbing Iron Man. That was pretty
close up. I guess we kind of see Thor beheading Thanos in
Yeah.
Endgame.
I would say Endgame and Infinity War
with
were pretty violent, but not like dark.
right. It wasn't dark somehow. They did a good job
Well,
of
the
that.
lighting was bright.
The lighting was bright.
The
and that
Incredible Hulk
honestly-
was very dark.
and
Lighting.
yeah. But no, I mean Marvel's definitely done a good job of not being that,
Right.
bloody, gory. Like even when
Yeah, you don't really see blood.
not a lot of it, and if it is, it's purple, right? It's like
Yeah, it's not human
yeah.
in a weird way.
So that's sort of distancing.
Or it's always like right here on their face.
It's like,
Right on the eyebrow, and they're like, oh, you broke my eyebrow.
oh, you got me, but I can still fight. Rawr. And
Right.
but yeah,
That's
the Incredible Hulk.
not so incredible,
Not so incredible.
man.
Well,
But next episode will be fun. We have a Valentine's Day
ooh,
special episode for you.
Special episode. We're gonna break down the romances in the MCU.
Yeah, the ones that were, the ones that weren't, and the ones that never should have been. So
Yeah. So that'll be more fun. In review, don't need to watch the Hulk movie. Mark Ruffalo's the best Hulk, in my opinion.
I agree.
And
That's it.
Iron Man's in it. So if you're gonna watch, skip to the end.
Skip to the or just Google Iron
Google
Man
it.
Incredible
Yeah.
Hulk scene.
Yeah, just do that.
Right.
Alright, well, this has been fun. Hopefully, the last 30 minutes or so have been enjoyable for you-ish.
Our wonderful viewers
Yeah,
and listeners.
we appreciate you. Couldn't do this without you. We could, but it would be less exciting.
It would be less fun. Yeah. I'm sure we have at least like 5 loyal listeners at this point. My mom. Hi, Mom. Your girlfriend.
My girlfriend, I was gonna say, I don't know. My parents
Your
probably won't.
roommates.
Maybe.
Alyssa will listen. And maybe one of my friends.
Yeah, we'll see. Or maybe we're like viral by now. Who knows? Maybe we're like the next new rock stars on YouTube.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be nuts.
We could go to Comic-Con.
We could go to Comic-Con. When is Comic-Con?
I texted you about it.
Leave it in the comments below. Oh.
Like months ago, you never responded.
Did I not?
It was like, let's go. It was like Tom Holland was going to be there, and I was like, let's go. And you just did it for some.
I don't remember that.
I'd have to find
I believe
it.
you, but I don't remember it.
I think it passed. I really do.
He had shaved his head. I saw pictures of him at Comic-Con with a buzzed head for his new whatever movie he's filming now. Not Spider-Man.
The Chaos Walking films?
Probably, yeah. He's doing a bunch of stuff.
I read those books. Or I'm reading those books.
He's doing a bunch of stuff. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so when we get to Spider-Man, I will be in a full spider suit. I'd like to let you know that now. So
I have a onesie. I can wear my onesie.
I have a morph suit now.
I just have the morph shirt.
Mm.
And I have a Captain America one too, but it's Captain America the Winter Soldier one. So,
Ooh.
yeah, like the dark blue stealth one.
Yeah,
so
this is like the new,
like
what do you call it? Not the night monkey suit, obviously, and not the stealth
iron
suit, but not the Iron Spider either. It was like the dark blue one. The one Tony, I think it was the second iteration of the Homecoming one.
Oh, just the regular suit.
Yeah, I guess. It's just
Spider-Man.
weird to say that.
Mark III.
Mark III. Anyway, yeah, we're dragging on this ending, but
Yeah, we'll cut it.
Incredible Hulk, no bueno. Carson, that's
No
Carson.
bueno. Oh, yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.